Are you enjoying the game today, too?
That is the ultimate question, isn't it? Welcome back to another deep dive. Today we are opening up the archives, blowing off the dust, and looking at a cartridge that might just be one of the most deceptively simple yet infuriatingly difficult puzzle games ever made.
Oh, I am so ready for this. When I saw the title on the stack today, I got a literal shiver down my spine. It was a mix of pure excitement and post-traumatic stress.
Yeah.
We are talking about BABEL No 2.
Or the Tower of Babel.
The Tower of Babel, released by Namco on July 18, 1986.
Yep, the 16th entry in the Namco family computer game series. It's a real piece of history.
1986. I can vividly remember holding that cartridge. It had this, this mystical artwork on it. It promised adventure, it promised glory. And let me tell you, back in the day, I was convinced I was a puzzle genius.
Oh, were you now?
Absolutely. I saw blocks, I saw ladders,
Yeah.
and my brain just clicked. I was basically a child prodigy of block stacking. I was the Mozart of masonry.
Is that so? Because if memory serves, most child prodigies of this game threw their controllers across the room somewhere around floor 10. Did you actually finish it without help?
Look, we don't need to get into the specific floor number where my genius, took a sabbatical, but the nostalgia is real. It's that feeling of holding a game that looks like a cute little action platformer, only to realize it's actually a Mensa test disguised as a video game.
That's a very accurate description. It lures you in with cute graphics and then just breaks your brain.
Exactly.
And for our listeners who might not have grown up in Japan, this title was something of a lost treasure for a long, long time. It didn't see an official international release for decades.
Right. It finally popped up on the Switch recently under a different name, didn't it? I saw it on the eShop and it had a total double take.
It did. In 2023, it was finally released on the Family Computer Nintendo Classic service under the title Mystery Tower. So if you're looking for it now, that's the name to search for.
Got it. Mystery Tower. But for today, for history's sake, we got to call it BABEL No 2.
Agreed. So let's set the stage. What is the mission here? Who are we playing as in this high-stakes architectural nightmare?
You play as the intrepid explorer Indy Borgnine.
Indy Borgnine. I wonder who that could possibly be inspired by.
Right. Maybe a certain fedora-wearing, whip-cracking archaeologist named Indiana Jones.
The resemblance is, let's call it legally distinct, but highly suspicious. He's an archaeologist and an explorer. And his goal is the stuff of legends. He is trying to reach the Hanging Gardens, rumored to be at the very top of the tower.
The Hanging Gardens of Babylon.
Yeah.
One of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. A place of myth and beauty.
Precisely. The game draws heavily on the biblical motif of the Tower of Babel from the Old Testament humanity's attempt to build a structure to reach the heavens.
In the original story, the project fails because everyone starts speaking different languages, right?
A confusion of languages. But in Namco's version, the confusion is entirely about spatial reasoning.
In a confusion of physics. Okay, let's unpack this setup because this is where the comedy of the game starts for me. You're an archaeologist. You want to climb a massive, ancient tower.
Okay.
Most people would bring, grappling hooks, rope, climbing gear.
A ladder would suffice.
A ladder.
Yeah.
Exactly. But what does Indy Borgnine do? He decides to physically lift giant L-shaped rocks, one by one, and stack them to make stairs.
It's a bold strategy.
It's insanity. I won't use a ladder. I'll just bench press this ancient architecture until I reach the roof.
His poor back. He must have had discs slipping all over the place.
Well, it makes perfect sense in the context of an action puzzle game from 1986. The story is just a wrapper for the mechanics. And the mechanics here are where the true brilliance and the stress lies.
Right, the famous L-shaped blocks. Let's drill down into this, because when people hear block puzzle, they probably think Tetris. This is different.
Totally different. These are the mysterious stones. The entire game takes place on a side-scrolling vertical tower. Your goal is simply to reach the exit door. But the blocks are L-shaped. And Indy has a very specific limitation, right? He's not exactly Mario.
Correct. Indy cannot jump.
What? An action hero who can't jump. That's like a fish that can't swim.
No jumping. He can only move left and right, climb vines, and most importantly, lift and drop these L-shaped blocks.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Because those blocks aren't just square boxes. They have that little notch, that L shape.
That geometry is everything. Because they are L-shaped, you can hook them onto ledges. You can stack them in these interlocking patterns to create staircases. You can create overhangs. It turns building a simple staircase into a complex architectural challenge.
And since you can't jump, you have to build a perfect smooth incline. A single gap means you are totally stuck.
Exactly.
But the satisfaction when you figure it out, you stare at the screen for 10 minutes, your brain is melting, and then click. Aha. If I flip this block, hook it there, and then drop the other one on top. It makes you feel like the smartest person on Earth.
Until you take one step too many and realize you've trapped yourself. But there is another layer to the mechanics, specifically in the Famicom version, that sets it apart. We have to talk about the power system.
Oh, the power system. This is the part where the game stops being a puzzle and starts being a resource management nightmare. It's what gave me so much anxiety as a kid.
In the Famicom version, Indy has a power stat, and every single time you lift a block, you lose 1 power point.
1 lift, 1 point. And if you hit 0...
If your power hits 0 and you try to lift 1 more block, Indy dies.
He dies. Think about the logic of that for a second. Indy can fall 50 floors, land on his feet, no problem. He's fine. Gravity does not apply to his knees. But if he lifts 1 too many rocks, bam, dead.
Exhaustion is a silent killer.
It's like the game is saying, cardio is important, but weightlifting will kill you.
It adds this fascinating layer of tension. Most puzzle games let you experiment endlessly. But here, every move has a cost. It creates an economy of movement.
An economy of movement. I like that.
Yeah.
So you have to budget your physical exertion.
Exactly. You have to plan your solution efficiently. If you waste moves just shuffling blocks around, you will literally run out of energy and die before you reach the exit. It forces you to solve the puzzle in your head before you even touch the controller.
There are items to help, though, right? I have this vague memory of scrambling for a jar or something.
Yes, the urn or the jar. It appears periodically to restore your power. So the gameplay loop becomes this desperate dance. Solve the puzzle in the fewest moves possible, or route your path to grab the urn before you collapse.
It complicates everything. It's this constant risk-reward assessment.
It's brilliant design, but then of course they add the enemies just to make it a little more stressful.
Yeah, the enemies are few, but they are so effective. You have the bats, which are they're annoying like mosquitoes. But then you have the BABELs.
The rock monsters.
The BABELs are actually kind of helpful sometimes, aren't they? It's a weird love-hate relationship.
They are. The battles create blocks. Sometimes you get to a floor and there aren't enough blocks to reach the exit, so you have to wait for a BABEL to generate one for you.
So you're basically farming the enemy for resources.
Pretty much. And then there is
Ooh, I hate I feel my blood pressure rising just saying the name.
Is a ghost-like creature that just chases Indy relentlessly.
He's the worst. You crush him with a block, which is incredibly satisfying, by the way, that little squish. But then what happens?
It comes back
immediately.
Very quickly. Is an infinite nuisance. He just regenerates and resumes the chase, which forces you to keep moving. You can't just stand still and think forever because is coming.
It turns a thoughtful puzzle game into a total panic attack. Okay, I need to stack this. Oh no, here comes the ghost. Crush him. Okay, quick, stack the block. Oh no, he's back.
There is a strategy, though. Since he regenerates, experienced players learn to trap him inside a structure of blocks. If he's boxed in, he can't chase you.
Imprisoning a ghost in a stone tomb just so you can do some masonry in peace? Classic.
It's the only way to get some thinking time. Now, briefly, it's worth noting there was an arcade version of this game on the Nintendo VS system.
Right, the arcade cabinet. How is that different? Usually the arcade versions are harder.
In the arcade, they actually removed the power limit. You could lift blocks as many times as you wanted.
Oh, that sounds so much more relaxing. Just lifting rocks all day, stress-free.
Not quite. They replaced it with a very strict time limit.
Ah, of course. Because arcades want your quarters.
Exactly. But looking back, most fans, and I'd include myself here, agree that the Famicom's power limit was the superior design choice.
I agree completely. The time limit just makes you rush. It encourages sloppy play. The power limit makes you think. It's strategic. It just fits the puzzle theme so much better.
It rewards efficiency over speed, and for a game with 64 floors, you really need that strategic depth.
64 floors. That is a massive game for 1986.
It is huge. And the variety is impressive. No 2 floors are the same. Some require quick reflexes, some require pure logic, and some rely on that aha moment we mentioned.
And the music. The BGM is so catchy.
It is. Though, one valid criticism is that there are very few tracks. You hear that same main theme for almost the entire game.
It's an earworm, though. I can still hum it. But, okay, let's get to the real meat of this discussion. We have a great puzzle game, 64 levels of block stacking fun. You beat level 64, you wipe the sweat from your brow, you're ready for the ending.
But the game does not end.
It does not end. This is where we have to talk about the big password. This is the controversy. This is the thing that traumatized a generation of Japanese kids.
This is indeed the infamous hurdle. To actually clear the game and see the ending, you have to enter a big password after floor 64.
Okay, so where do you get this password? Does it just show up?
No. Throughout the game, every 8 floors, so floor 8, 16, 24, and so on, you enter a special room, a wall painting room.
A room with a mural. I remember these. They looked cool.
Right. In this room, if you perform a specific secret action, a symbol appears. That symbol is one part of the big password. You need to collect all 8 symbols to beat the game.
Specific secret action. That sounds ominous. How do you know what the action is? Does the game give you a hint?
You don't.
Yeah.
The game gives you 0 hints.
0. None. Not even a little try jumping? Oh, wait, you can't jump.
In the game itself, none whatsoever. The hints were provided in the instruction manual and the strategy guides at the time.
Okay, well, that's annoying. That was the era of buy the book to beat the game. But at least there were hints. What did they say? Like, press A.
Oh, if only it were that simple. These were the days of deeply obscure riddles. Let me give you an example. This is the hint for the action required on floor 8. I'll read it to you verbatim.
Hit me. I'm ready.
The holy knight injured his right eye. A silver axe falls from above. It is the scream of the soul. Obey the signal of the woodpecker's arrow. The clock hand turns right.
Excuse me.
The clock hand turns right.
Is this a puzzle game or a poetry slam? What am I supposed to do with the holy knight injured his right eye? Do I need to find an axe? Do I need to scream at my TV?
That is the question. Imagine you are a 10-year-old in 1986. You are staring at the screen. You read that text in your manual. What do?
I cry. I throw the controller. I have no idea.
The solution, it turns out, is to hold upright on the D-pad.
Hold upright.
Yes.
Because the clock hand turns right, like from 12 to 1, up to right.
Precisely.
That is absurd. That is absolute madness. Why didn't you know the holy knight meant the D-pad? How's anyone supposed to figure that out without a playground rumor network?
They weren't. This was the, let's call it the golden age of strategy guide sales. The developers expected you to buy the book or share secrets with friends. It was a communal puzzle in a way.
It's diabolical. So you had to survive 64 floors of Death by Lifting, dodge the ghost, and then solve a riddle written by a sphinx just to see the ending.
And if you missed one symbol, you couldn't finish. You had to go all the way back.
Unbelievable. But somehow, I still love it. It adds to the mystique, doesn't it? The tower has secrets. You can't just casually conquer it. You have to study it.
It does. And despite that barrier, the game is widely considered a masterpiece of the genre. The criticism about the difficulty spike in the later levels is valid. It gets absolutely brutal. But the satisfaction is just unmatched.
So let's say you are a masochist. You beat the 64 floors, you solve the riddles, you enter to the big password, you see the ending. Are you done?
Of course not. This is Namco. If you enter a specific code on the title screen, you unlock BABEL,
Which means
BABEL Pro, or Mystery Tower Pro.
BABEL Pro, because regular BABEL wasn't hard enough to make you cry.
Exactly. It is another 64 stages. The map layouts are even more devious, and there is one crucial change.
Let me guess. Now the blocks are heavier.
Close. In BABEL Pro, the urns, the healing items that restore your power, do not appear. You have to clear these ultra-hard stages with only your starting power. Every single move must be perfect. There is no margin for error. If you misplace a block and have to fix it, you likely won't have the energy to finish.
That's not a game. That's an interrogation technique.
Yeah.
Tell us the secrets, or we'll make you play BABEL level 27.
It is for the true elite. It's amazing they packed so much content into one Famicom cart. 128 levels total. That is incredible value.
It really is. So for those listening who want to try this, we mentioned the Switch release, but it's popped up elsewhere, right?
Yes. There was Namco Anthology 1 on the PlayStation.
The PlayStation 1 had an arrange mode, didn't it? With better graphics.
It did, yes. And it was quite beautiful. But more recently, in March 2025, the arcade version, the VS System version, was released on Switch and PS4 as part of the Arcade Archives series.
Oh, nice. So you can finally play the one with the time limit.
You can. And the Arcade Archives version has a very modern feature, a quality of life improvement.
What's that?
A self-destruct button.
A self-destruct button.
Yes. Because it's really easy to get stuck to stack blocks in a way that traps you. The modern port lets you map a button that just instantly kills Indy so you can restart.
Giving up has never been so efficient. I messed up the stairs, boom.
It saves a lot of time, honestly.
It really sums up the whole experience. You try, you fail, you explode, you try again.
It's a loop of trial and error.
So, putting it all together, the Tower of Babel, Mystery Tower. What is the final verdict?
I mean, if we look at the legacy, it remains a high watermark for the puzzle genre. It proved you don't need complex graphics or some cinematic story to really challenge the brain. It treats the player with respect, perhaps a little too much respect, given the difficulty.
It makes you feel like a genius and an idiot at the same time, usually within the span of about 5 seconds.
And that is the sign of a truly great puzzle game. It forces you to question your assumptions. It teaches critical thinking through limited resources.
And it teaches you that if you want to be an archaeologist, you should really work on your deadlift.
And maybe bring a ladder next time.
Seriously, a ladder would have solved everything. Or just walk around the tower. Was that an option?
But then we wouldn't have this game.
True. You know, thinking about those riddles, it makes you wonder how many secrets in old games are still buried, just because we didn't have the right ancient text to decode them. It kind of makes you want to go back and check every wall in every NES game, just in case.
A fascinating thought. The digital archaeology continues.
Well, I think I'm going to go home and try to solve the riddle of the Holy Knight's right eye without looking it up. Wish me luck.
I will have the strategy guide ready when you give up.
I won't give up. Okay, maybe I will. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for climbing the tower with us. Will the game be fun tomorrow too? Have a nice game.